Welcome to Nugget 121 with Steve Grohman, and today we will be talking about an article in a very recent Science News. It was actually the September 26, 2020 publication.
And it is entitled, Did Life Begin in a Place Like This? And it has a nice hot spring.
Beautiful place that we've actually been.
But yeah, it says the answer could guide the search for signs of life in other parts of the solar system.
Well, that's important, isn't it?
Well, I guess so. They found some kind of hot spot, so they're going to say that's what it is in the whole solar system. It starts off this way. At Bumpus Hell in California's Lassen Volcanic National Park, the ground is literally boiling, and the aroma of rotten eggs fills the air. That's all true.
It's wonderful.
Gas bubbles rise through puddles of mud, producing goopy, popping sounds. True, too. Jets of scorching hot steam blast from the vents in the earth. Well, they have quite a descriptive thing here going on, don't they?
Well, it's true.
It is true. The fearsome sight was named for the cowboy, Kendall Bumpus, who in 1865 got too close and stepped through the thin crust. Boiling acidic water burned his leg so badly that it had to be amputated.
Some scientists contend that life on our planet arose in such seemingly inhospitable conditions. Long before creatures roamed the earth, hot springs like Bumpus Hell may have promoted chemical reactions that link together simple molecules in a first step toward complexity. Other scientists, however, place the starting point for Earth's life underwater at the deep hydrothermal vents where heated, mineral-rich water billows from cracks in the ocean floor.
As researchers study and debate where and how life on Earth first ignited, their findings offer an important bonus. Understanding the origins of life on this planet could offer hints about where to search for life elsewhere. Just because life is here, why would that give a hint of searching elsewhere?
And that is obviously a direct competition to the Bible, because we know the Bible says that Eve is the mother of all. The Lord made this place to be inhabited.
To be inhabited, it says. So obviously this is not true. It goes on. It says it has very significant implications for future of space exploration. The rules of physics are the same throughout the whole universe.
And they know that?
I was going to say, how do they know that? Out of NASA's Ames Research Center in Moffett, California, Moffett Field. So what is it to say that the rules of biology do not carry through and are in place and active in the whole universe? They think because something is alive here, all life must be the same everywhere. The rules that govern life must be the same everywhere.
Obviously, an evolutionary viewpoint. What I found interesting is they are still, in September of 2020, looking for how life began.
One thing I've never understood about this is they know what life is. They know what chemicals are there. They know what it takes. They've got the genetic code. They have the chemical makeup. They say it takes heat and light. Well, in fact, we'll even show here in a minute a spark of energy of some sort. They can do all that in a laboratory, so why don't they just make life and call it good?
Because they can't.
I think they know that too.
And a certain astrobiologist, I'm not sure you can be an astrobiologist, quite frankly. I think that's just a title. You can't be an astrobiologist.
That is what they claim, though.
Damer stood the open vials in a metal block roughly the size of 2 CD cases stacked together and set the contraption into a near-boiling hydrothermal pool to simulate the sometimes wet, sometimes dry burbling of the primordial Earth.
Wait a minute. How do they know what it was like in the primordial Earth? If there never was a primordial Earth, they wouldn't know. But even if there was one, nobody was there back then to record it, or anybody here now wasn't there back then. Obviously, it's guesswork. It's belief. It's religion.
Damer squirted acidic hot spring water into the vials, let them dry out, and then repeated the wet-dry cycle several more times. When he brought the vials back to the lab, he found that they contained RNA-like strands that were 100 to 200 nucleotides long. He captured some of these things, and they smeared out on a glass to look under a microscope. Is that basically what happened?
Yeah, in a nutshell.
And you know what's sad? Is this place is awesome, and this isn't what it's trying to prove, that how life began. What it proves is Noah's flood and the fountains of the great deep breaking up. And we will continue with that when we do the creation perspective of this article.
That's right, because it has nothing to do with life starting in some kind of place like this back perhaps billions of years ago, or at least hundreds of millions of years ago. But it does actually show that the Bible's true, because the Bible said same day, things are broken up everywhere. So we've got evidence.
And this is evidence of that.
It goes on. Nicholas Hudd, a chemist at Georgia Tech in Atlanta, studies the origins of life from a slightly different perspective. He explores how DNA and RNA nucleotides originated. He agrees that molecules are more likely to link together by condensation reaction on land, where wet-dry cycles can occur than in the ocean. oceans. These reactions produce water. The formation of such a chemical bond isn't energetically favorable when there's already a lot of water around. The best place to form that is in a hot, dry place. The worst place to form is in a wet, hot place.
So here we go. We've got two scientists
On par with each other.
that are saying opposite things. Yet they're trying to find the same thing, and they really don't care. They would rather side with each other because they are believing in evolution and the evolutionary origins of life on Earth. They will not accept what the Bible says.
There's nothing wrong with having people research things and try to figure out what's happening to different things. That's what science is. That's not the problem. The problem is both of these things are contradicting methodologies here. You can bet only one of them is going to make it into the textbook as a fact, even though a lot of people agree that it's not.
Well, one might make it into one textbook, and one might make it into a different.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And the problem is neither of them are going to be right because it does not square up with what the Bible says.
They left out the Creator. Problems with both. To Deemer, there are big barriers to putting life's pieces together near underwater vents. The vastness of the ocean could dilute molecules so they wouldn't be concentrated enough to drive chemical reactions. Also, there are no wet-dry cycles underwater. Duh! In his view, repeated evaporation is needed to pull together enough molecules to bump into each other and react to form longer chains. Plus, unlike a hot spring's fresh water, salty water, oceans inhibits the formation of membranes and reactions that link together molecules, he says. Basically, he's saying, this is silly what this guy is doing. It is a hot spring. The things he's saying, these things poof out, go on land, get dry, and then they're going to get wet again. I guess they get splashed, and it's just off and on, and that's what he's trying to test in his little vials. And this other guy's going, nah, I don't think so.
But then they go and talk about life beyond Earth. Well, there is no life beyond Earth.
It may be impossible to nail down how life truly began on Earth. Well, no, it's not.
No, it's not.
Most geological records of what actually happened during Earth's earliest days have long disappeared. No, they haven't. There is a geologic record of what happened.
Because Noah's flood. In the early days, it was a tropic environment. Everything was the same temperature. It was stable and no rain. And the flood happened. The layers are laid out. That is the earliest record of geological record would be laid out at the time of Noah's flood.
It's found in the Bible, not in textbooks.
Correct.
There are numerous alternative hypotheses for where life began, beyond terrestrial, hot springs, and deep-sea vents. Recent research, for example, suggests that asteroid impacts could have sent superheated seawater into the crust to produce hydrothermal systems resembling hot springs. I think we have to admit that there might be more than one little tortuous path that might have been traversed in order for life to begin.
It's kind of silly statements, aren't they?
It's sad.
It is sad, but that is what, when people refuse to agree and refuse to see, refuse to believe the truth, they'll have to come up with something. And sometimes it seems really out there, but to them it makes sense, I guess, because they ignore the Creator.
We had spoken of the two guys that were disagreeing with each other, and now we've got this asteroid hypothesis also. They've got to come up with something. They just have to.
Yeah, and it goes on. Life beyond Earth. Researchers are using what they've learned about how and where life may have originated on Earth to guide the search for biological signatures beyond our planet. There are several promising locales in our solar system.
One of the things that NASA is really interested in knowing is whether or not there could be life in the subsurface oceans of the icy moons like Europa and Enceladus. Maybe. Really, people? They know there's subsurface oceans on the icy moons? I don't think so. I really don't think so.
Probably not.
There are a lot of things that could be solved here, right on Earth, that they could be investing in, don't you think? Investing this intelligence in, brilliance, and money. I'll go ahead and say it. Money. NASA is given a lot of money.
Well, that is 100% true.
Every day to find out about life in subsurface oceans on icy moons. It's nuts.
Yes, it is. Throw out the Creator. You got to come up with something.
I hope you enjoyed that nugget on that article. And our next nugget, in Nugget 122, we will take you to Bumpus Hell.
That'll be fun.
It's amazing.
It was fun. Let's do it.
All right. Thank you.